Good morning. Oh wait.
Good morning.
Welcome.
Well, thank you. Thanks for having me on. This is my second appearance.
I know.
Was it last year that I was on?
It was a little. Yeah, it's. Yeah, it was.
Or maybe the year before. I don't know.
A little bit. Yeah, like a year and a half. It was right before.
Yeah.
I'm getting lined up between me taking a bunch of time off for the holidays and you have a life. Technically, you would have been here before the year was up, but life. So.
Yeah.
But thank you for coming back.
Yeah, anytime.
And
Thanks for having me.
Since we chat more frequently now than we did before, I'm going to be a little bit less fangirlish this time. So.
Okay. Well, that's good because I'm fairly boring.
You don't want to build your ego up too much, Adam.
No. Nobody. No one wants that.
Nobody needs that. That's how you get ants. All right, let's see. Andrew, welcome. And it's true. Of the 2 pages, both of them are merman. One, he's having a really good day, and in the other, not so much. This is how you get fish sticks, I think. And hello, Mint with Card. Mint with Card is a member. Sorry, Andrew. So you know what we got to do for Andrew. Where is that out? There we go.
Bring out the off. Bring out the off. Bring out the off.
Oh.
And enough champagne to fill the Nile.
There we go. And I will say that she's slightly less wooden than the actual Gal Gadot is. So.
Yeah, I was going to say she stepped up her acting chops.
Yeah, she definitely has a little bit more emotion now. So, emoting. There we go. So, welcome, everyone. So, like I said, I picked 2. I'm going to start with He-Man. Because this is, of course, as you know, not everyone knows, but this is back when He-Man was only super strong with the harness. And so, it's that interesting pre-filmation time where
any wardrobe malfunction was a big problem.
Yep. Well, and it's funny, in one of these coloring books, like, he has all these extra powers because of the harness. And I sent it. Colt's gonna be here in a few weeks. So of course I sent him one where, like, one of the coloring books where it's like Merman and Skeletor have kidnapped Teela, and she's like in a coffin floating in the ocean, and she's able to summon He-Man through their special connection. I'm like, that got lost.
Oh yeah.
And
Colt
of course
loves that.
He does. So I was like, I've had it for a while. It's that first 1982 coloring book, which was initially, that was what I was going to start with on the channel because it's got this 3 stories in it. But then I was like, I don't know how to do 3 stories on. Like, I figured out now how to present 3 stories in coloring book form.
Yeah. I'm just going to show. Should I show what I'm coloring?
Oh yeah, sorry.
So this is from the same book, Battle Ram and He-Man, which I figured I have to do.
You have to, right?
Given my website, yeah.
It's your motif, like it's your jam.
I think last time I was on, I only could find crayons. This time I have actual colored pencils.
Excellent. Yeah, that's right. You did have crayons. Crayons. Sorry, there's the Southern. There are some words that no matter how hard you try, you can't completely suppress your Southern accent, and that's one of them. You did really good though last time, so.
Oh, thanks.
I keep threatening to do a video where I just use crayons, because that's actually, in coloring too, that keeps cropping up every few months. Like, everyone will be like, let's do crayons, and stop being so fancy and bougie about this. And people do really nice things with them, but I'm just like, I don't even own crayons at this point.
Yeah.
So I would have to buy them, which sort of defeats, because part of it's like the D-stash, or like, let's stop spending lots of money. It's like, I would have to spend money to get crayons. So let's not do that. I need to spend that money on toys.
Sure.
in old coloring books. Priorities, people. But yeah, so crowns are pretty good. It's just, you know,
Yeah, they're okay. It's a little harder to get the details. Just
it's
'cause
hard to
they're
get a blend is the thing, and
yeah.
that's kind of why I've resisted, because you can't really. I was watching a video and somebody kind of got a blend, but it's like, but they also use very complementary colors. So even though it was laying on top of each other, it creates a blended effect, but it's not an actual blend. No, you didn't, Andrew. Please, whatever. Andrew unsubbed. I'm gonna get you a special sound clip, Andrew. Wow. Sorry. Wow. So last time you were here, it was 2024. Yeah, 2024. How have things been since 2024? Have you gotten any new jobs on the internet since last time you were here?
Well, the big one is He-Man.org, which takes up a lot of time.
You don't say. That's you. Okay.
So yeah, that's the relaunch of the org has been fun. It's been a lot of work. Although you kind of eventually settle into a rhythm. So mostly what I'm doing right now is just trying to keep up with news and then
Yeah.
uploading scans of comics and toy, like taking photos of toys where we don't have a toy. So it's every week I try to upload at least like a good 10 items to the site.
I've got like a stack of stuff to scan for you, and I keep feeling bad that I haven't gotten to it. And then I'm like, he's got so much, it's okay.
Yeah, I'll be uploading material for a good couple of years before I start to feel like, okay, we've got it.
Right.
Not that it'll be done, but it'll be, I'll feel like, okay, we've got a handle on a pretty complete-ish site. We'll just keep making it cooler.
Well, it took. I mean, the original org took years to get everything up there. Like, I think
It
that
did.
the thing to remember, like that, it wasn't built in a week or whatever. Like,
no, yeah, it was built over decades, and a lot of it was fans uploading stuff themselves.
Yeah.
Which is nice, but that is a security problem too if you want to do that now.
Yeah, it's a completely different world than whenever the org first. I mean, I remember when the org first launched way back when, going there and like, oh my god, people have all this stuff.
Yeah, for sure.
I mean, some of my best picture swipes are because of the org.
Yeah, me too.
I think I've sent back half of what I've sent you so far. I think are things I swiped from the org.
Yeah, well, Battle Ram blog too. That's a lot of that stuff was from the org too.
Yeah. So, but like that's kind of how not ironically, but like I guess fittingly, that's how a lot of research on these old toy lines works. Is it's just somebody uploads something, you grab it while you can, and you sort of piece it all together. Like,
yeah.
Yeah,
I think the value add is being able to say something about it or analyze it or put it in its context, right?
Yeah.
As opposed to just like an image dump.
Yeah, like let's not be Tom Art's collector's magazine, guys, and just be like, this is obviously. Sorry, it's dated 1984. There's no way that's Evil Lynn. It shows the date on the sketch that you just cropped out.
Yep. Yeah, there's a lot of that.
Yeah, well, you found one of the big ones from that where the two sexy Tila that they always refer.
Oh yeah.
Sexy Tilas that are probably the boys department.
Right.
Justine, Leela, basically Tila's twin sister. So.
Yep. Yeah, and that's basically. I mean, that's what Roger Sweet said. So he was specifically asked about that issue.
Yeah.
And that's what he said it was. So that's. I mean, and that makes sense. That's the only thing that that makes sense to me too, because that artwork also postdates Tila, so why would they be
Hmm.
like, okay,
Right.
let's do second Tila using almost the same art?
Right. Exactly. Yeah. It was very well, and also like, as far as the one, I mean, on the unicorn, like she has an eagle on her armor, which sort of falls a little bit more into where the, well, I guess an eagle. It's some sort of a bird, but
Yeah,
it's finding the Justine sketch because like obvious for those who aren't aware, I spent a lot of time in messaging, bugging Adam when he should be probably working or uploading stuff to the org, but like a lot of those early Justine Danzer sketches have been really important in sort of getting the lineage between the Tila toy line, I mean the Leela toy line and She-Ra. Because like that original Angela / Glimmer sketch is labeled sorceress in some of those early sketches. And so it's almost like they were just going to spin the sorceress and Leela off, which would make sense because sorceress is Tila's mom. So obviously Leela.
yeah. And it's funny. There was I remember listening to this Mark Taylor interview. I think it was from like a convention appearance. He mentioned like Oshira started out as my Tila design,
Yeah.
and at the time I didn't know that much about that history, so I was like,
Right.
well, that doesn't sound right. But then when this art comes, shows up, like then it
Yeah.
starts to make sense.
Yeah. Well, and it's funny too because in the Wave 2 mini comics, Tila looks completely different. She's got the long blonde hair. She's got the separate. Her armor is different. It's almost like they sort of started the genesis of what, because had to have been at that point because they were already getting the early marketing and sales
Right.
back. All the girls going to get, who were going to the toy. We were going to the toy aisle to get Tila, guys. I mean, I was already over there for Star Wars and stuff, but I only ever picked up Masters of the Universe because I saw Tila bonking Beastman in that mini comic.
Nice.
Yeah, because I came back from, that summer was all about Little Orphan Annie, 1982. People forget that
Hmm.
movie. I don't. I remember. My collection over here remembers. I set up the mansion a few months ago, and let me tell you, I do not miss setting up giant playsets. My attorney is still in a box, and I'm still sad because there's no dad or mom to pretend to be Santa to set that up in the night. But yeah, I mean, I came back from summer, and my brother had He-Man, Man-at-Arms, Skeletor, and Beastman already, and I was like, "What are these stupid-looking baby toys?" Because they were big and they were clunky, and sorry, it's ironic to say that to 8-year-old me, they looked very cheap, and stupid. And then I saw Tila and the mini comics. I'm like, okay, she's kind of cool. And then finally, when I got her, I'm like, oh, she's the coolest one.
Yeah.
And so
Yeah. She's one of my favorites for sure.
it was, to be fair, my brother's first toy line that was technically all of his. Like I didn't want anything until Tila, so I did swipe it from him. No wonder he has issues. Anyway.
So when I got Masters, that was pretty much the first real toys that I got. Everything else I had was probably tricycles or pop guns. I didn't have any action figures before that, so that was my intro to action figures.
Hello, Hella Geek. Welcome. And Mr. Galliano, aka Hella Geek, who is one of the coolest actors in all of Los Angeles, is appreciating your room, Adam.
Oh, thank you.
No. Adam has one of the better collections I've seen.
It's kind of funny because this is my I work from home too in real life, and this is So basically, I'm just surrounded 24/7 by this
Yeah,
stuff.
same. This is where I
I
do
just
the insurance stuff.
have the fake background for Zoom meetings.
But see, that's kind of why I have like some of the like dip dots and the paint by number sets because they're like books. So it's a lot. I just adjust the camera down slightly so like the Shira stuff right above it is missing, and then it looks a little bit less toyetic, but not much. But for the internet, I have to have the camera here. So one, you can see the toys, and two, my 5 head is on full display. And because one time in 2023, some man said my forehead was too big to be on the internet.
Oh,
So
wow.
here we are. I'm a spiteful bitch, so
Well, you got to do what you got to do.
it's true.
I've got an 8 head, so that's why I've got the hat.
Yeah, right? There you go. See? Giant forehead people unite. We're not all terrible. Never. I will never let it go. Like you get those comments that like burn you to the soul in a bad way, and then you get the ones that burn you to the soul in a way that make you laugh because it's so ridiculous. And that's one of the ones where I'm just like, okay, sure, let's do this. This is why some of my older relationships didn't last, to be honest. Oh, that bothers you? Okay. So, but yeah. So let's see. MOTU, your first role. So you're about the same age as I am, I think.
Yeah,
You're a little younger.
I started kindergarten in '83. So.
Okay, so yeah, you're a little bit younger than you're actually a lot younger than I am. So okay, well, not really, not anymore, but back in the day, yeah, because I was like 8 when MOTU first came out. So
Gotcha.
but you were about my brother's age, so
Okay.
So yeah, perfect. Actually, like I was sort of probably a little old for MOTU, based on their original plans for that toy line. So
Yeah. Well, I remember my brother, who's a good 8 years older than me. His I remember his comment, which was, the muscles do not look realistic. What is this weird toy that you've got?
And I think that's what it was for me too. Was again, I was a huge Star Wars Strawberry Shortcake. One of my only like fashion dolls as a kid was Darcy from Kenner. And one of her selling points was she was more realistic than Barbie. Like she wasn't like that weird Barbie, tiny waist, wide hips, weird. Like Barbie is very weirdly, not so much now. They've kind of corrected that. But back in the day, Barbie was very weirdly proportioned, much like He-Man. So like I had Darcy and she could do splits, and then of course my large size Leia doll, which is built off Kenner Dusty. Oh, Dusty. Anyway, America's most beautiful doll, and if you've ever seen Dusty, you will understand why from the get-go the concept was not happening. So, but yeah. Yeah, the muscles are weird. Like, but again, it's like that's just normal toys. So
yeah, like even superhero toys are a lot of them are pretty over muscled right now, or under, depending on your tastes, I guess.
Yeah, depending. Well, that's what's sort of also interesting, I think, about MOTU was because Mattel did try to get DC. And didn't, and then they got Marvel Secret Wars, and like they kind of phoned that. I mean, it was a flanker brand, obviously, but still, like they phoned that one in.
Yeah, that was a little bit more. I think they put more effort into the vehicles, which is the vehicles for superheroes is always a little strange to me too.
Yeah, well, at least one of those vehicles though was swiped from MOTU, I think. Like, wasn't the roller event originally envisioned as the MOTU?
Yeah, that shows up in the Power and the Honor Foundation with forget who's on it, but yeah, it was originally MOTU.
I think Beastman maybe.
Yeah,
I've got
Beastman.
I've got scans of the Power and Honor Foundation somewhere. I still haven't found the box with my copy in it. Oh, the boxes. They'll never end, Adam. They'll never end.
All right. I'm just I know I chose Battle Ram, but like there's a lot of blue.
Yeah,
it's just
there's a
blue,
lot.
blue.
Yeah, no, the Battle Ram is very blue. And it's kind of like an off blue too, so like
Yeah, kind of
like
slate
not quite
blue.
turquoise, but kind of gray, but a really odd color choice, but also a really perfect color. Most people just do it as like a light blue, light grayish blue though.
Yeah.
I who have broken it down, it's got like turquoise, it's got gray, and then it's got like a really steel blue in it. So it's a fun one to color. It just takes a while because I layer it so that I can get all those stupid colors in there. Because ironically, it's He-Man stuff that I most often get the comment, that's not the right color for that. I had some German guy go off on me in German on a She-Ra short one time because I chose toy colors for Swiftwind. He was not having it. It was like, I translated, how dare you make him pink white? He is a boy unicorn. And I'm just like, whoa, what's happening in Germany?
Wow.
Yeah.
That's some strong opinions on
that was some
coloring.
really strong opinions. And I was just like, and I had to translate it too. So it was like extra. And I just replied, it's toy colors. And in the early mini comics, he was a girl. He didn't reply. But yeah. I assume that's where that dislike on that short came from, though.
Probably.
It was
kind of like Zor, I guess.
Yeah.
Right? Zor used to be just a falcon, a boy.
He was a boy falcon. And now he's the sorceress. Yeah, that was always the weird one. I'm sorry, Filmation fans. I was never a fan of the Zor thing. I liked Zor as a falcon who could drop bombs that weren't just poop. But that was also around the time where they did the kid stuff album where like Evil Lynn turns into Screech.
Yeah, which is interesting. And Screech was more of like a vulture.
Yep. Then it seemed like based on the Filmation Screech which later became Robot Raven, that originally Screech wasn't necessarily going to be just straight up reuse, and then Mattel was like, what are we joking here? Let's not do a new mold, let's just reuse.
Yep.
We've only reused this Eagle mold 4 times. Like, so what's funny to me is like, I see this a lot in message boards and comment sections now where people they keep reusing the same thing. It's like, you just want the vintage toys, guys. Like half of that line is reuse. Like,
yeah. And the most popular part of that line is reuse because the least reuse is the 86 wave, but that's not one of the more popular ways.
It's really, and even for me, like also I was way She-Ra at that point. Like He-Man was way less exciting to me once She-Ra happened. It was like I got everything I liked about She-Ra, but with girls. Yay. But like, and also like to me, that's when it went sort of way more sci-fi than the sword and sorcery thing, and for me, I like more of the sword and sorcery stuff.
Yeah, me too. And I don't know. I remember getting the Snake Men and liking them because they're not really a change in style. from the earlier stuff. But like Rio Blast and Extendar and Snout Spout, like I remember seeing those and just like, this doesn't, it's not doing anything.
Yeah, those were and like we had, because we were just at the point where my mom would just see new He-Man stuff and just buy it. And I think for me, a big part of why I fell out of She-Ra because they stopped making the toys, but like, and it was 87. I was at the age where it's like in the 80s, like should not be playing with toys anymore. You should be listening to music and putting on makeup and worried about fashion and chasing boys who are too old for you. But since it's the 80s, if you're 13 and dating a 24-year-old, that's normal, right?
Right.
Oh, hello, Duchess of Darkness. Welcome. Lovely to see you. I know, hard to believe, Andrew. Hard to believe. Alex is here. Alex will do the thing in a second. I'm going to get to everyone else. She absolutely is, as well as the new attorney of Force Captain Adora, and all of the 2000 and X stuff, and some Star Wars stories. And Alex is here really quick before we get back to toys. This is almost 2 weeks straight of talking about toys. Me and Andrew did this last week where we talked about toys all
Bring out
episode.
the arms! Bring out the arms! Bring out the arms!
And enough champagne to fill the Nile.
There we go. All right. There you go, Alex. Welcome. Lovely. Thank you for being a member. I appreciate you. And I will look at all the 30 reels you sent later. But anyhow, yeah, the sort of, but She-Ra is sort of, the toy line at least always retained more of the fantasy. So I think for me it was easier to stay locked in because they didn't really, and that was I think what I disliked about the Filmation cartoon was it went so into sci-fi with the Horde.
Yeah, and it's kind of hard to explain, like they're like Masters is that blending of sci-fi and fantasy, but early on they had the explanation for why would somebody use an axe or a sword or a club if there's laser weapons.
Yeah,
the only answer can be if those are in limited supply and they're hard to get.
Yeah,
but if you can like mass produce stuff like that, then why is anybody using a club anymore?
Yeah, like that's, well, and like Rio Blast just in general, like, I mean, he's cool now, but at the time I'm just like, this is dumb. But again, it was also 80s, and I was also getting to that age where everything was dumb, so.
Right. It's kind of funny, like I can look at Rio Blast as by himself as a figure, and he does look cool. I like Western. I like like Firefly. He's like sci-fi cowboy. He's that's a cool genre. I just don't know if that fits with Masters.
Yeah, agreed. I think that's kind of what it comes down to, though. It feels like for me, starting in '86, and it was also after Mark Taylor had obviously been gone but it also seems like it was around the time where Roger Sweet was less involved, and Mattel was like outsourcing designs where they were like, if I remember it, isn't Rio Blast one of the ones where they bought the design from outside engineer or some such?
No, it was one of the Hordax was bought from outside. I don't remember if it was Hurricane or Buzzsaw. It might have been Buzzsaw. Rio Blast. All of the art that I've seen for it was from Mattel employees or.
Okay.
But like, I mean, they did that stuff a lot. I think Attack Track was the mechanism was an outside inventor. I think there were a few others.
Well, Mattel was also more about, even to this day, it's a little bit more obvious with the way they license stuff out. But even back then, like Barbie cells were important, but it was the patent for the various Barbie technologies. Like,
right.
there was that whole period where people, like why were all these other dolls different proportions? Why did clothes not fit? And it was because Barbie, for a long time, the design of her was patented, so you couldn't make a doll that looked just like Barbie easily without licensing it from Mattel. And that was a lot of what's his name, Jack. Oh gosh, I can't believe I'm spacing it. But like the guy who was behind the creation of American Barbie. Let me phrase that properly because she existed in Europe before she came to America, and then they gave her to a guy at Mattel to clean her up, and then he and Ruth Handler sort of reinvented her. But that's a really interesting. It's very venture capitalist.
Yeah.
Like the way Mattel would sort of swoop in and like snatch up ideas, and then 20 years later, it's Mattel came up with all of it. Mark Taylor.
Yeah, I'm curious. Speaking of that, like, because I know the new Castle Grayskull. It's got the moat, the playmat. So I wonder if they like went back and did something because I don't think they had it like the artwork. So maybe they went with Rebecca and got it. Or
I watched Pixel Dan's review, and I want to say he said that it looks, but it's not exactly the same. So it's almost like
did they recreate it? Okay.
Mine is right here. It's just if I open it, then I have to figure out where to put it. We went to the Masters of the Universe stuff yet, guys. I might actually, if I open it later, I'll take pictures of. If anyone in chat has opened theirs, let us know. Assuming again, I'm realizing not everyone is as geeky as we are about this stuff. My understanding, based on the way Pixel Dan phrased it, is it's a recreation, so it's not exact.
Oh, okay. Well, that makes sense.
Yeah, it would, because they would to actually go back. I mean, I'm not a lawyer, so this is not legal advice. I could be wrong here. This is based on my limited non-lawyery understanding of sort of trademark and copyright and artistic, what you call it. But the way it would appear, because they technically threw it out, and there's no, as far as I know, other than that picture of the prototype that has it laid out but doesn't necessarily give a lot of details. I don't know that Mattel owns any of the original art from it. So I don't know that they would be able to recreate it legally without actually licensing it from Rebecca. Again, this is not legal advice. I could be wrong. But based on my understanding, they would at least have to go to her to get it, which, like technically you should pay her.
Right.
Which is my also understanding why, even though the Origins Castle pays homage to the original art, why they redid the original art is because technically, I don't know if that would still fall under the original contracts.
Yeah. Well, I mean, they've made a ton of prototype-based figures.
Yeah. Yeah, it's true.
Of course, they don't want to retool a whole castle.
Yeah, well, it'd be really hard to, it makes sense from a, like, I saw somebody online, like, why would they just do that? And it's like, there's a movie coming out this year, guys, and they're gonna want a castle on the market in some capacity.
Right.
And, fingers crossed that they stick to. I've heard rumors that that they try to be really accurate. They're not trying not to make the mistake of the 1980s. This is rumors. I can't. This could just be somebody who's talking out of their ass with wishful thinking who told me this. But allegedly, they've tried to correct what went wrong with 87, so things look like the toys. And if so, we could be getting an accurate Castle Grayskull in that capacity. So it would make sense to do like reissue an Origins castle that looks like what's going to be in the movie without having to do a movie castle when they don't know how the movie's going to actually do. My guess is if the movie blows up, we'll get him, like a proper Newcastle Grayskull.
Right.
But it's just Mattel being cheap. Mattel is cheap. If you're watching this, Mattel, I have said for decades Mattel is cheap, and I'm still all in on Origin. So, kudos.
Yeah, I don't mind the cheapness as long as the product looks good. I don't know. I feel like in the last few years, it's been a little hit and miss on some of them.
Yeah, I kind of agree. There are a few that, I'm enjoying all of the sketchbook stuff because it's all stuff I wanted to do customs of, and now I don't have to. And I'm gonna be, somebody was like, but it's like $25 at Target. I'm like, well, it's more for me because I'm not shopping at Target because I'm still boycotting Target, so I'm spending eBay prices. But even if I factor in all the paint, all the toy, like buying a figure, buying the paint, buying the materials, it's still cheaper to do the sketchbook. So for me, like, this line is perfect. Like, this is what I want. I get why some people are bored with it, but they're also releasing characters, like Spikor. Hard to find him now at reasonable prices. Cyclone was a Mattel Creations exclusive, sold out. That Horde pack was just too cool. Like, come on, guys. Like, this is a way to get A and B list characters on the market for people to buy without the 2000X ridiculous repaint situation.
Right. Well, those are the only sketchbook is the only Origins I've bought in the recent, like this last year.
Yeah.
Just because I've only got my little, prototype based collection. It's less than 20 figures. So.
Well, you have all the vintage stuff though, like.
Yeah, mostly my collection is vintage and classics. And I've just got a small selection of Origins.
I have way more classics than I thought I did when I was unboxing. I'm like, wait, I've got this. What? I have the classics multi-bot and I never opened him.
Oh, nice.
I'm like, just in time for my Origins multi-bot to show up. Both of them, so I can finally, with both of my MOTU locks, make my Mega Beast or whatever that they teased back in the original. Because we had both of those as a kid, and I will say the Mega Beast they say that you can make with both of them, you needed two.
Oh, really?
And
I've never tried to make one.
Yeah, and even as spoiled as we were, my mom was not going to invest in two MOTU locks.
Yeah.
Or two multi-bots. Like, we didn't get to army build. You need a new figure. It's like, God dang it, Mom.
Well, I couldn't get variants. The only reason I got Battle Armor He-Man was because one of my brothers destroyed my regular He-Man. So that was like, okay, we can get you Battle Armor He-Man.
Yeah, I need mini comic stuff. Derek, sweet, I will check into that after the stream. And Derek says it's delightful you're here. Like, that's that is sort of we need a proper Green Goddess, Mark Taylor Sorceress, whatever we're gonna call her, like with the proper head sculpt, with the proper
the helmet, correct colors,
the little
bodice.
And that I stand by the fact that the one mistake that Mattel made with Origins, that first wave, was not going back to Mark Taylor's design for Tila, where the armor was an overlay and like there was a generic tunic. It took them doing the cartoon collection for them to finally get that. And lo and behold, now that they have sort of that kind of a Torso, look at all the women figures that they're able to make now.
Mhm.
Like,
Yeah.
wow, Mattel, if you had had some forethought, or just, made Origins exactly what you said it was supposed to be in the beginning.
Did you see the sketchbook He-Man thing that I posted about with the helmet transplant?
Oh, no, I have not seen that yet.
Okay, I've got him here just for
Okay.
this. So
Oh,
I was able to transplant the helmet, the horn helmet, over to the regular He-Man.
oh, nice. That
So
looks really good. So that's almost, let me embiggen you really quick. Oh, wow, that looks really good. So what you're saying is I need 3 of that sketchbook He-Man.
well, maybe. I mean, for me, this I don't need the other head
Yeah,
because I've got this. But
right.
just so you can see what's going on under there, you have to
Yeah,
basically make He-Man bald on the top.
I've got like 30 of those He-Mans, so it's possible.
Yeah.
And when they went on
And
sale
then-
for $2 at my local Fred Meyer, I snatched up all 12 of them. And that's really cool.
So
Yeah. Yeah, I need 3 now.
I'm almost considering getting like a junky old vintage He-Man and then putting it on one of those.
Oh, that would be really cool. You should do that. I mean, there are a lot of those out there.
Yeah.
What's Yeah, Mattel gives, Mattel takes away. They just, it's really odd, like, to a degree, how little they actually seem to understand MOTU as a brand. Like, I mean, as far as what the fans want, right? And I get, like, there's that line you have to tread where it's like kid collectors, just kids who need toys, and like the adult collectors pushing it, and it's like it's like they're making a toy line that primarily is going to appeal to the adult fan collector, but they're releasing it as if it's for kids, and like
Yeah. It's weird.
it's like they don't, like. And I will say with Mattel Creations, I have, like, I know some people are like, Great Black Wizard, whatever. I'm like, this is the perfect place to give us these weird one-off characters that,
Hmm.
were built, like, everyone knows that I have my critiques of Scott Nutlick and his tenure as Classics as the MOTU brand manager. But what I will say is I do have a considerable amount of appreciation for his attempt to at least expand and create new stuff, and letting Axel create some really cool looking stuff. And I'm really glad to see that Mattel has made some of that stuff, because Axel's love of the brand is like he's exactly the sort of person who should be working on MOTU. Like, he loves it, he appreciates it, he
Yeah.
understands the history.
Yeah, I do like his designs. I wish we had gotten more of those in classics. Like what did we get? We got Fangor. Was that
Yeah.
the only one?
I think Fangor is technically the only one, because a lot of people don't understand the Lost Wave. Some of his Snake Men creations were in that 2-pack with Slamurai.
Right.
But a lot of people don't understand that Slamurai is not really a new creation. Like, because we got the Classics gave us all of the Lost Wave, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, they did in between the Power Comics.
Yep.
PowerCon
And
exclusives.
all we're missing in Origins from the 88 wave now is Plasmar and Strobo.
Mhm.
And they've got all the parts. Well, if they do Plasmar as originally envisioned with the hero chest, they've got all the parts now. If they do them with the weird diamond chest like in classics, they don't. But personally, I would prefer the original design with the hero chest. Because I'm that nerd.
Yeah, I mean, why not? For me, like, just recreate the material. Like,
Yeah.
Stick to one source material and just get it exact. That's what I always like to do.
Yeah, like, and that's the thing with Plasma. Like, to get him correct, you need the hero chest. That's how he was designed. That's how he appears in the Errol McCarthy card art. That never happened. And that, for me, like, some people complain. I'm like, I liked that last wave of MOTU. Like, Clamp Champ, the Sorceress, King Randor. I like the kit bashiness of that last. Like, to me, that Clamp Champ is more MOTU to me than Rio Blast as far as the design of them. Like,
for sure, yeah.
Clamp Champ should have been like it's like should have been Fisto, Clamp Champ, Buzz Off, and like Mechanic. That should have been 84.
Yeah, I always like those two. I like, and I love the the Search for Kildor comic, just the look of it. So for me, I'm like I always want to put all those characters together that appeared in that comic as like a display.
Yeah, like Ninjor is like perfect way to bring in the whole ninja thing that was happening at the time. But make it MOTU. You know, and Skeletor, and it was very wave too, where Skeletor accidentally conjures villains from like a different dimension. Like, let me bring in Ninjor and what was the other one? A Scareglow.
Scareglow, yeah. Scareglow, and everybody loves Scareglow.
Yeah,
it's part of that wave.
Yeah, it's like a new head sculpt and a fancy cape.
Yeah.
The giant axe from the Castle Grayskull, finally. Yeah, I don't know. It's odd to me, like, yeah, like I feel like people are like, oh, thank God it got canceled. It's like, I feel like Slamurai would have been really popular.
I think so too.
He's like a cool white ninja, guys. Like, that would have looked really cool on a card. Like, I really like the Origins one. So much so that I bought extra Ninjors, and I'm going to make, that's when I get everything set up, I'm going to spray paint some blue and green, and I'm going to have a whole line of ninjas. And then I have an extra Jinx head from G.I. Joe Classified, and that's going to become blue, and I'm going to put that on a cartoon collection lady body and just spray paint the whole thing blue, and she's going to be Bushido. Because I'm like, that's great. Yeah, because she's a ghost ninja. But she's a girl. It's like Bushido, but Bushido. Because I'm like, what would be more MOTU than Bushido? She's a ghost. She's a girl. She's a ninja. Even though I know Bushido's not ninja, for MOTU it would have been. In the 80s, it just meant martial arts, guys. So. Yeah. Hello, Breck something. Lovely to see you today. And then let's see. Yeah, Axel Snake. I know people are tired of Snake Men. I'm kind of like, I wish they would have spaced him out, but we're still missing like 2 or 3 of his amazing Snake Men. I bet it is Andrew Slammer. Oh, that would have been way cooler, you know, on screen where you could have done your delivery. That's what that's what I need, Andrew. I need you to do some clips of you just delivering quips, and I'll play them throughout. But yeah, I don't know. Like, I like all that. That's the stuff that I find most interesting. Way more than, you know. Again, Rio Blast is sort of cool in retrospect now that he's been here for 30 years, or no, almost 40 years.
40 years this year. Yep.
I mean, Star Wars is going to be 50 next year. I still am not emotionally equipped for that. I keep saying it just so that I can accept it. But it's very much like, wait, stop making me feel old. I saw Star Wars in the theater 7 times before it was called A New Hope. No, that's not true. 6 times, and then the 7th time was 1981 when it became A New Hope. Anyway,
I'm the right age where I actually liked Return of the Jedi. I didn't think the Ewoks were dumb because I was just young enough
I
to enjoy it.
I initially really liked Return of the Jedi. It was sort of the afterglow of it, where it was like it felt lesser than.
Mhm.
It took a while. I enjoyed the Ewoks for a pretty long time. And then around 80, I know this sounds ridiculous. Around 85 was when my love of the Ewok, and it was because of those Ewok movies being
Right.
so terrible that suddenly the Ewoks, and my mom really doubled down. Like, both my brother and I suddenly had Ewok, the stuffed plushies.
Yeah.
And it's important to note at the time where the Ewok plushies were hitting, like if you were going to have a plushie bear and you weren't a toddler, it needed to be a Care Bear. And I was not allowed a Care Bear because you're too old for like the stuffies, right?
Right.
I had the miniatures, I had the little figures, but I was too old for a stuffed Care Bear. I was not too old for my mother to give me an Ewok doll. And it was not the Ewok. It wasn't Princess Nisa. It wasn't, what was the other one? I think they did Latara, maybe not. It was not Princess Nisa. She got me Pablo, I think, or was it Tebow? It wasn't even Wicked. It was like Ballerina Barbie. No, just kidding. Like, it was not even the Ewok I would have wanted. My brother got Wicked, and I got like the lame one. It was just like, perfect. Yes, let's do it. They're rad, but like there was a period where it was just like the woke agenda of the 80s was making everyone buy Ewoks. Kathleen Kennedy strikes again with her Ewok. I mean, technically, yes, she was part of that because she was a producer back in the day because she has been at Lucasfilm since the 70s, guys. She worked on the original movie, dipshit. Anyway, I'm not, we don't want to invoke those people. You say Kathleen Kennedy 3 times and 2 men in a fedora will show up to tell you how to do She doesn't understand what Star Wars is. It's like, oh my god. I am so dry. Anyway. Sorry, that was a bit vivid. See, you're lucky. I did not get Wicked or Nisa. I got like Tebow or Latara or Dirty Diaper, whatever, the lame one. Yeah, I've come to appreciate the Ewoks. Yeah, I know. Oh, that's a good point. I should start doing Red Eye Kathleen Kennedy thumbnails and the whole time. She's so great. I love that she has red eyes and can destroy you all with her mind. I know we get good engagement on those, but not the channel I want. Oh yeah. Like, I mean, that's the thing. Like, Star Wars is just woke. Like, anyone who thinks it wasn't, like, I mean, like, let's be honest. Owen and Beru and the first Star Wars did not comply with the Stormtroopers, so.
This is true.
That's true. So, anyway, that's enough of that. Let's escape back to Eternia, Adam. Oh, wait, where the evil Skeletor is constantly trying to exploit the secrets of never. Okay, so MOTU is woke too, guys. Sorry, guys, everything is woke. But anyway, so yeah, 1987. It was cool though that we've recently have discovered the like the designs for Kang? Is his name Kang? Or is it Krang? No,
Karg.
Karg. Yeah, that guy.
Yeah.
That guy, I mean, he looks like my ex's mom, so I always want to call him Helen.
He does look like a 50s, he's got like the beehive haircut almost.
Yeah. Like he's just about to go to the beauty parlor to get it updated, and he has to finish his Marlboro Red in the parking lot and his gallon of Big Gulp orange soda. So he can go in there and tell everyone what Pearline did last week at the church bake sale, but then also the Skeletor Stormtrooper.
Yeah, which is kind of I know they had some different designs for that. It kind of ended up more Star Warsy than I think. What was it, Garrett? Or no, I forget who was. Somebody was interviewed about it. They were basically saying we didn't want them to look that Star Warsy, but
Yeah,
that's what happened.
Well, I will say when we left, I was like, wow, that looked more like Star Wars than Masters of the Universe. So on point. Yeah, and some of the original sketches of those guys are way more MOTU-y.
Mm-hmm.
I think for me, that's sort of where, like I like, like the Evelyn design is on point. Like that's a great way to make Evelyn live action. Skeletor looks great. He-Man is fine. Like he looks actually more swords and sorcery in the movie than he did as a toy. Tila and Man at Arms is kind of where, like.
Yeah, it's interesting. I wonder why they went with like the blue shade for both of them.
Yeah.
When neither of them had any blue.
Yeah.
Other than the helmet for Man at Arms. But.
Yeah, the Tila design in general, like no offense to Mrs. Scott. I mean, Mrs. Scott Bakula, Chelsea Fields. Who was in a TV show by Aaron Spelling called Nightingales in the 80s. And the pilot episode, there was an entire house of young student nurses, one of whom was Christy Swanson, the original Buffy the Vampire Slayer. R.I.P. Christy Swanson. But also one of the roommates in the pilot who did not make it to the TV show was Britta Phillips, aka Jem. So Tila and Jem actually teamed up once. Back in 1988.
That's what they need to do. Like if they're doing all these crossovers, let's have a Jem Masters of the Universe crossover.
She-Ra Jem with Tila. And then this is how we actually introduce Leela. Because a lot of Justine's Catra and Justine's original Leela with like the colored streaks, 100% Jem and the holograms branded. Like I love her Catra. Her Catra is so cool. Very, very punk rock.
Yeah.
Like I would love. We didn't even get proper Princess of Power figures last year. Happy 40th birthday, She-Ra. But I would love a book series of her Catra and her Casaspella. Like I know Noreen redid Casaspella, but like I like the Justine with like the collar and like the clippy. Like she's just a lot cooler. Like this, the disc is a lot cooler that Justine came up with.
Yeah, they could do some sketchbook She-Ra stuff. Although I think there might be riots unless they give us a few more figures first, like just some basics, like little Flutterina or somebody.
Yeah, well, like the mold, that's the thing though. Like, like Wave 1 She-Ra, they all use the same. Like there were only like 2 different arms and leg molds. Like so this is what's stupid though, right? Like if they gave us a toy style Catra that gives you scratching sound Catra and then shower power Catra. There's 3 figures right there. Her bodice is Sweet Bee. Sweet Bee has the same legs and arms as Double Trouble. The original concept, the filmation concept of Double Trouble used the Catra bodice, so you could do a filmation. Literally, they could have done like filmation. I don't know if they could though, because she never appeared. So technically, that's still, I guess, a filmation development art. And I've only seen that once from the Power and the Honor Foundation. But technically, you know, Catra filmation Double Trouble would have had the Catra bodice rather than the one that she had in the toy. But like Castaspella, you've got Entrapta. You could do sketchbook series, Castaspella, easy. Because the disc and the back piece. Angela, technically you could reuse parts of that for Glimmer. Like, you know, there's a way to do it. Like Flutterina, Spinnerella, Natasha, Peekaboo, like all of those use the same parts. So
yeah, if they did like I don't know, I feel like there's also just a value in just get out the figures that are really hard to get in the vintage line. You know, get a Lookie, get a Spinnerella. You know, just make them look close enough.
Yeah, you do Spinnerella. Yeah, you do Spinnerella. You do Natasha. Do the Star Sisters. Like, you know, like the Shower Power. It was last variants of Catra and She-Ra. Lookie, you could do Lookie and Cal. If they do them sort of Orco style, you could do that as a 2-pack again, like they did in Classics. Like, I don't, like, I feel like whoever is there doesn't understand the actual rights anymore, or there's some licensing that hasn't quite expired from DreamWorks yet, where they can't actually characters, and they just don't want to say that. And I think if they were just to say that, then that would help.
Yeah, I guess that's the other thing. Like, I guess like comparing the Classics era to now is there was a lot more. Like they would talk about rights, what they can and can't do. And they don't do any of that now.
And I think that the communication is, I think, what would make the difference. If they, you know, again, we all remember, you know, Toy Guru having meltdowns on the message boards back in the day. I'm on vacation. I can't give you the updated numbers. You won't know for another 3 days whether or not we have enough. It's like, well, stop scheduling your vacation every year for the same week that this ends. We go through this every year with you, Scott. Stop. I do this in my free time. It shows sometimes, Scott. You know, like, all of that aside, all of that of, you know, like sort of all the fights you would pick with Emiliano, which, you know, like anyone who's followed knows part of why Emiliano is still sort of unhappy. A lot of it traces back to fights and things started back in that era. Like, I can get kind of why Mattel is hesitant based on that history. But it's not exclusive to MOTU. Like, Barbie fans, you know, I mean, I'm not a huge Barbie fan, but I watch channels that do a lot of Barbie reporting. And even they, you know, like, Mattel just doesn't really communicate with fans. And
yeah, it's interesting.
You know, when you look at sort of Hasbro, where it's like, you know, who, like, I'm not even fully sure still who the, you know, like last year when they did the fan, I guess we'll find out at the fan event. You know, they had a woman up there who was like, "Oh, I'm the brand manager of Masters of the Universe."
Right.
Like,
yeah.
Like, wait, what? There used to be a different brand manager. You know, like, this is the sort of thing I feel like, and I feel like they're going to have to figure that out, because now that they're going to be doing DC stuff again, you know, DC fans have changed. You know, since the last time they did you know, they're going to have to do some communication for DC fans, or it's going to be really bad.
Yeah.
So, And they're gonna have, and it's true, Andrew, but they're gonna have to get better at that. So, uh, 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 uh. Let's see. All right, here we go. We've got a question from Brick. What are your hopes for the MOTU movie? Not so much about its good, but maybe tone, character, appearance, vehicle, settings, appearances, etc. Adam?
So the biggest things I'm looking for, honestly, are likable characters, compelling characters. Heroes should be likable, or there should be some depth, there should be some complexity, there should be some, the characters should pull you in. The story should be. I hope it's at least, there's some real stakes. They've organized it. It's not just like flying by the seat of their pants, or it's not just you know writing by committee. So I'm hoping those are solid enough. I'm not expecting it to be like the best movie ever, but at least some of those fundamentals. I know we're gonna get all the main characters, so like other appearances. Obviously, we're gonna see Castle Grayskull. I'd love to see a battle ram, since I'm coloring one of those right now. Let's see a battle ram in there.
It's your whole thing.
And just, I don't know, it'd be fun to just kind of some random things, like some, I don't know, like throw a cyclone in there, or it'd be cool to have Faker. I don't think Faker's been mentioned anywhere as far as like casting, so it'd be cool if we saw something of Faker. Just pepper in some of those less obvious choices, I think.
Yeah. For me, I want it to pretty close. I know we're gonna get Goatman, which is kind of exciting, because he is, sort of a really obscure character, and in my opinion, that's better than sort of how they created a bunch of new characters for the other movie. Excuse me. I also get that though, like new toys, right? But other than like Goatman is cool. I feel like that's a good deep cut. Based on the characters announced, I'm fairly happy. I do hope we see, at least in some capacity, all of the original 8 figures. I feel like even if Beastman and Merman don't have huge parts, or Stratos, I think they announced an actor for Stratos. I've been trying to keep my keep it vague as far as what I'm following. So if they've announced these characters, don't correct me. I want to sort of go in other than the Goatman thing, because people flipped out about Goatman, and that was when like I'm not going to pay attention to this as much, so that it doesn't kill my love. But I'm hoping we see the original 8 figures. I want Castle Grayskull to be more like the mini comics in the beginning, where it's mysterious, where it's dark. I know there's a sorceress, but like there are ways to be mysterious, dark, unknown, unfathomable Castle Grayskull and still have the sorceress there. There are times in Filmation where they got that, like where she kind of hints there are parts of the castle I don't even go into, or I don't know about, right? And that's for me, because for me, what really, when I finally did lock in on MOTU as a kid, thanks Tila, but it was Tila and Zodak. Those were my first 2 figures, and that was what I liked. Was there is sort of the sci-fi element, but it's still filtered through fantasy and sci-fi. I mean, fantasy and like swashbuckling hero type thing. But that for me, that's what MOTU, how it works best. Everyone's mileage will vary, but I feel like for a movie that could launch a franchise, it should at least play into early MOTU, where it's a little bit darker in the fantasy world. I do hope Jared Leto's face gets melted off and we get to see him become Skeletor, because if I have to sit through Jared Leto, I need his face to melt off. I hope we get a pre-credit prologue where he becomes Skeletor and we see his face melt, Nazi style. Like, oh, I just gotta monetize. Sorry, Adam. But like I want to see his face melt because he's terrible. But yeah, so and when the movie ends, I want to still have a sense of wonder. I want to feel like there's so much unknowable, even if they did 17 movies. Because that was, again, that's part of what, for me, the early MOTU, early Princess of Power was. It presented a world where you could go off with your figures and create a whole entire world that didn't matter. And I feel like for me, some of the filmation stuff was that it took away from that because there was too much origin happening. Like, this is why this thing is, and I want that
Right. Yeah.
mystery. I want that unknowable. I want a world where it's like I could take action. Of course, at my age, I'm not necessarily going to do that, but I want that feeling that the original toy line had, where it's like you took the figures and you could go and create an entire universe that had nothing to do with the mini comics, with what your friends. But if your friends were like, "Well, here's what I'm playing," you could still sort of all fit that in because the world is so vast and unknowable. And no matter what they do, I would like to walk away with that feeling where it's like Eternia, anything is possible, and like all of these different stories could happen. I don't want it to feel complete. I want a completed story arc, but I don't want a completed world. I don't want it, even if they never make another movie, I want it to end in a way where you can imagine the movie yourself. So that's what I want. I don't know if it's possible in the way they make movies in, this day and age, but like that's what I hope for. That's what the original Star Wars movies were for me. Like,
Hmm.
the original Star Wars, the Cantina is an entire universe of story. Like, all these side characters, Kenner gave us some of the figures. You can make up these whole storylines that had nothing to do with Luke and Leia and Vader, and just sort of go off on tangents. And it's like I feel like that's what appealed to me about the original MOTU. I feel like, like everyone who likes the original mini comic best, I feel like that's kind of what it all ties into, is that unknowable.
Yeah. Yeah. There's kind of this wide open, like you've only got a little part of the story. He-Man doesn't have all the answers.
Yeah.
Even he doesn't get all the answers from the goddess.
Well, it's
There
like the
was this.
goddess. Oh, sorry. I was just gonna say the goddess doesn't even know. Like,
Yeah. Yeah. No, I think that's really the take. I like that.
like this one surprised you probably, but when I was a kid, my dad had coffee table books, and one of them was Frazetta,
Hmm.
and it was like just flip. Of course, now I'm like, maybe 4-year-old me shouldn't have been looking at some of that art, but that's kind of like what early Mochi for me feels like those paint. I mean, and obviously that's what they were trying to evoke to a degree, but like there was just open ended in those pictures, like in that art, and like that's just. And again, like, no hate to anyone who loves Filmation best, but for me, that's why I like pre-Filmation MOTU is just so open-ended. Like He-Man could die and somebody else could pick up the harness and become a champion, right?
Yeah.
There's no given that, like, like it's hinted, like, oh, Tila is the guardian of Grayskull, and that's why she and He-Man are destined, and he'll be the king of He-Man because of their special connection or whatever. That's why Skeletor is so often trying to kidnap her and marry her. Because of the prophecy, whoever marries the guardian of Grayskull becomes the king of Grayskull. But like she's also part of a group of warrior women, it's sort of hinted. So it's like any one of those women could end up being the guardian of Grayskull. Like, it's also open-ended. Like it would have, if the line had gone a different way, like in a year or two, they could have brought in Hero. Like He-Man is gone. Here's Hero and Shirella and Tila and He-Man have 100 years ago they died battling Skeletor. And here's Skeletor, all new and weird. So that's what I want. I hope they leave She-Ra out of it. I love She-Ra. She-Ra is my jam, but I want them to leave She-Ra out of it. I need that's too much Easter egg in my opinion. Like, I feel like the hint of She-Ra in Revolutions was perfect. Like, you got the complete story. They wanted to tell through that series, right? And then at the end, there's a hint. Oh, here's She-Ra, right? And I think if they do a sequel, then yeah, let's see some She-Ra. But otherwise, no, we're good. Or if anything, let's give She-Ra her own movie.
Yeah, weren't they working on like a Amazon show, or do we know if has there been anything on that
They were
for
talking
She-Ra?
about it, but there have been no updates. And I also feel like some of that is going to be dependent on how this movie does.
Right.
Because I do feel like they're going to probably try to tie it in a little bit. Like the DreamWorks series for She-Ra, it's weird. I liked it, but it's not my She-Ra, and that's okay. Like, I'm not having that reaction some people like, oh my god, it's terrible. Arrgh. I was just like, this is clearly not made for me. Like, this is for the kids. I enjoyed it. I liked it. It just not for me. Like, that's not my She-Ra, and that's okay. Like, it doesn't ruin my She-Ra. But I get the feeling that, like, because there's such an intense love of that by sort of younger people, like, oh my god, a MOTU property was embraced by younger people. It's terrible, guys. How awful. It found a new audience. It doesn't care about something that happened 40 years ago. Oh my god. Anyway, not being a bitch. I'm just being honest. But I feel like because of that, because of sort of how oh, thanks. Everything on the floor. That's fine. I feel like though, because of how devoted that audience is, I feel like to a degree there's some hesitation to sort of incorporate She-Ra more, which makes sense. But I also think they just need to do it if they're going to do it, but they should wait for the sequel.
Right.
Right. Yeah, that would be fun.
Oh no.
Yeah, I think a mid-credit sequence She-Ra would be fine. I just need the movie to not.
Or they could even. Oh, sorry. They could even like just have like even if they didn't show her, they could like somewhere in Castle Grayskull, the sort of protection is hanging on the wall or something like that.
Or even just if because we have seen enough to know that some portion of it takes place on Earth with Adam, which almost indicates that he's been sent away for his own protection. And we know they've cast a Queen Marlena. So even if it's something like Marlena saying something like, oh, at least one of our kids have returned, or something like for me, that would be enough, like of an Easter egg to like set up sequel stuff. So. But, I want MOTU to work as MOTU, and I don't, and again, for me, even though they are entwined, I don't feel like, that is the one thing I did really like about the She-Ra DreamWorks show, is that it showed you could do She-Ra without her hopelessly entwined to He-Man, and bringing He-Man in every 4 episodes. And the story and the mythos could stand on its own.
Yeah, that's true.
And appeal to people who would, like, let's be honest, a lot of the people I know who are younger, who are kids, and really like that show would never watch something like He-Man. and that's fine. Like, I don't know. Like, when people would complain, you know, or still complain that like the toy lines were just too different. It shouldn't have been so doll-like. It's like, well, you didn't have to buy it, buddy. Like, it doesn't hurt you that like it existed. Like, things can exist and not be for you, and it doesn't need to take away from the thing you like. I don't know. It's so weird. Like, everything has to be for me, except what I don't like, and then nobody can have it. Nobody says on Fleek anymore, Andrew. On Fleek is like 10 years old. I have a funny story about On Fleek that I'll share at some point. But it's not toy related, and I'm trying to I'm trying to keep this on topic. But yeah, I don't know. I would love if they. Ironically, I would love if they brought She-Ra in. It would be like, oh my god, yes. But I also want She-Ra. I don't want Despara. I don't want random horde lady. Like, I want a proper She-Ra. I get the reasons for Despara. That's really a lot of it is trying to get around some of the limitations of She-Ra. But I don't like the darker elements that have been brought about because of Despara. That comic where they introduced her and it opens with them spearing Flutterina to death.
Yeah.
I stopped reading the comic at that point. I'm like, nope. Like, I'm done with dark for dark's sake, and She-Ra is not supposed to be a dark property. Yeah, that's a little too. That's one of my other critiques about classics, is how dark and edgy they tried to Scott tried to get with the Mermista decapitated merman.
Yeah, I never liked that stuff.
Like, it just, for me, like, yeah, and I liked when Danielle took over the biographies because suddenly, like, they felt on brand again somehow. They didn't feel like edgelord. It felt like, for me, it felt like she was taking care to like honor the characters and then create a narrative as good as you can, like in a block of text on the back of the toy.
Right. And I feel they were a lot better written too, like just the quality of the writing.
Yeah.
I mean,
like,
no offense to Scott, but Danielle can write.
Yeah, she's a great writer. I have an extra Evelyn 2000X sitting in my pile of loot, and an extra Frosta here that will become the Crimson Countess, because that's one of the coolest characters, I think. Of course, they used her though recently on packaging, so I'm also sort of gonna head to wonder if we'll get a Crimson Countess.
We might, because she was on the Sketchbook He-Man packaging and also in the recent Dark Horse comic issue. So
I'm gonna hold off on customizing it because that would be cool. But I've got the parts in case I need to customize her, because I loved her since the first time she popped up on the forums.
Yeah, no, she's a great looking character.
Well, and also Danielle got commissioned Errol McCarthy to do like official art with her, which is so cool.
Yeah, she sent me a poster of that. That's great.
It was just so cool. Like,
yeah,
I don't know. Like, I'm a geek in that way too. I do hope we get Fearless Photog and Origins, because, you know, I feel like
I would assume
that would finally because putting them in classics, yeah, cool, but at the same time, like, having a Fearless Photog that actually plays with and fits with the vintage figures would honor what that the contest was. So
I have to think they would put that out.
I don't think you're in the majority there, Hella Geek. I think I'm sorry, I don't think you're in the minority. I think a lot of people enjoyed it. I think, though, the people that enjoyed it are not in the fan circles we're in. Because if you
Yeah,
go on Etsy and look, or even go Google image search Catra, it's really hard to do any sort of research into Catra now without getting. There's a plethora of fan art of the new Catra. So
yeah. Even on the org, we've got some write-ups on the
yeah,
episodes from Robert Lavandera.
yeah, he's
Um,
done a really great job
and I
with that.
think, yeah, and Robert is younger. I don't think they were associated with Masters. I think it just came the fandom came through watching the show. So
Yep. Yeah, I don't. I think and I discount anyone who's like the new She-Ra is not sexy enough. It's like she's 15. Like she
yeah,
should be sexy.
right,
Like
exactly.
she shouldn't be attract. The original She-Ra is 18. Like when we were all 12 and 13, maybe yeah, that's fine. But you as a 30-year-old to 57-year-old man, like talking about how sexy She-Ra is, like she's 18, buddy. Some of y'all got grandchildren that are older than that. Like, check yourself before you wreck yourself. But yeah, that was the weirdest discourse around the new She-Ra. It was like she's not sexy enough. It's like she looks like an athletic 15-year-old girl who does gymnastics. Y'all leave it.
Mhm.
Like, but yeah. Welcome to fandom. All fandom. It was like when the new Space Jam movie came out. There were people mad that the bunny wasn't sexy enough anymore. It's like she's
Wow.
a cartoon bunny. Like, and it's from people who aren't even like if you're a furry, like okay, I will hear you out why it's important that the cartoon rabbits still be sexy. Like I'll give furries, because that's their wheelhouse, right? But when you're a grown ass man and you're in your like 30s, 40s, or 50s and you're mad that the cartoon bunny isn't sexy enough, it's like we need to have a real talk, guys. We need to have a real talk. Like we've lost the plot. It's like when people were mad that the green M&M wasn't sexy enough anymore. It's like it's an M&M,
Yeah,
not even real. So
I don't know. I feel like if you're worried about that, then your life must be pretty good
yeah,
because you don't have anything real to worry about.
well, I wouldn't mind a Mighty I need to find my half-finished costume of Mighty Spector. I MOTUized him, like because originally like the character of Mighty Spector was a royal guard, and then he dies and becomes Mighty Spector, and people were like, well and again like no, I haven't ever nobody watching this thinks I have any love for that man. But there it is. There's the hair that keeps getting in my face. But and everyone was like the playing card motif, the spade or whatever it is, the ace, like that doesn't have any. That's not in MOTU. I'm like, do you remember Bo from She-Ra? His chest has a heart, and technically, according to the lore, Spectre originally came from Etheria, so there's room for some motif there. So anyway, I redesigned him. Reusing like Man-at-Arms parts, but he looks MOTU. Any character can be made MOTU if you use MOTU parts. It's just when you try to make them look like Rob Liefeld's Deadpool in purple that it goes different. And I don't hate the character. I hate the look. That's fixable. Yeah, exactly. Like Alex, you don't spend hours hating on it on the internet. Yeah, right. I mean, and again, that's the thing because the DreamWorks She-Ra was made to be for them instead of trying to pander to both audiences. man. Sometimes that's how it has to go. Like, you know, when G.I. Joe Real American Hero came out, they absolutely did not say, like, what about 40-year-old men who still who collect G.I. Joe still? How do we get them in here? You know, like my dad had I'm sure your dad did too, like, had G.I. Joe figures and, like, well, dolls. They were big dolls, you guys. G.I. Joe is the whole reason we call them action figures, so they could sell dolls to boys. But when the G.I. Joe came out, like, Real American Hero, my dad wasn't like, oh my god, they ruined G.I. Joe, this is stupid. Yeah, my brother got G.I. Joe toys, because he wanted G.I. Joe toys. And then I bought Scarlet so she could be Mon Mothma. And gave the crossbow to Princess Leia. But, and then I got into G.I. Joe because we got, you know, Baroness was cool and Cover Girl. I saved up allowance for like 2 weeks so I could buy a Wolverine tank with Cover Girl.
I got into G.I. Joe when it started to get weird, like
Yeah.
in like 86, 87. 88.
Yeah, and that's about, you know, and the thing is, all that stuff was so, you know, it's not like now where it's like toys are out for like a month or two after they release them and they're gone.
Mm-hmm.
Like in 86, 87, when we got a flag, like, I got my Wolverine that year. I liked it weird. Like, I liked Cobra Law. I liked Crystal Ball is one of my favorite characters.
Yeah,
like, I'm into the weird sci-fi side of it. I thought they all looked really boring. Which was probably the only reason I wasn't getting G.I. Joe. Was they were all Green Army men. It's like, we've got those. They're stupid.
Right. Yeah.
No,
I wasn't interested in that. But yeah, give me Serpentor, give me the Cobra Law people. I was interested in that.
Like, Chuckles was one of my favorite characters. Like,
I had Chuckles too.
he was like, oh my god! Like, the last time I played G.I. Joe as a kid, and there was the wedding of everyone hold on to your pearls. But in my play pattern, the game that I played, there was a love triangle between Zorana, Chuckles, and then Xandar. And the last time I played G.I. Joe was Xandar and Chuckles getting married on the USS Flag. And then Zorana showed up in the middle of the wedding on a stolen, what is the helicopter?
I don't remember the name.
They just released it. It had Wild Bill, whatever. It was my brother's. Anyway, she showed up in a stolen one of those, kidnapped Chuckles, and then took off. And then I never played. So at some point, I'll get Xandar and Chuckles, and I'll finally finish that out because I do have Zorana. So yeah, so that was my G.I. Joe game. Because Chuckles was kind of hot for a 3 3/4 action figure with an O-ring.
I think I got him, like, it was like one of those buy something get a free figure.
Yeah.
I think I got him for free.
That's where my ugliest bareness comes from, y'all. Dragonfly. Thank you, Andrew. See? Exactly. Yeah, thank you. Even as a 10, 12-year-old, I got that, right? Anyway.
Yeah.
G.I. Joe. Don't ask, don't tell. Actually, that was before Don't Ask, Don't Tell. But still. G.I. Joe. Anyway. Yeah, so anyway, my parents were very concerned about me, to be honest. And, you know, as they should have been. Like, but they just let it happen. They were just like, whatever, leave her alone. Don't get too close. But I also was as mean then as I am now. So, like, if you crossed me, I would go for obviously, you know, your parents' hot buttons. So I would go for them if they pushed me to. I was probably I was like the evil seed, I think. Or the bad seed, whatever that little girl was. Yep. This is true, and that's I think why whenever they got weird, it was so easy to get in because there were all the ladies that I already had most of them. But yeah, like I think people lose sight of it, and that's what's weird. Whenever like now, like they will do like characters that are not white or a woman, and people are like, "Oh my god, forced divorce, diverse." It's like, y'all, this has been GI Joe since day one. GI Joe was always woke. GI Joe was, I mean,
Yeah,
like wave one, Stalker. Come on, guys.
yeah, it's kind of funny, like the revisionism, because there were so many, you know, diverse, and there were strong female characters in the 80s, and even the 70s. There were some,
Yeah,
just it's this isn't some sinister new
it's
thing
not brand
somebody
new.
invented.
It's literally like we want everyone to buy these toys. And if we represent everyone, they're more likely to buy them. I mean, we got Clamp Champ because Wile Easton was stealing money from Mattel by Sunman. Like, that's the only reason. Like,
Hmm.
if you look at the timeline of when Clamp Champ happened, it was like within a year or two of like Sunman, and like there are a lot of people like I don't remember that. It's like, well, you obviously did not go to KB or Kmart because he was on pegs in both places. Not KB, K and B, which was a drugstore of all places.
Hmm.
But like I remember getting mad because my mom was like, "You just got this figure." And it's like, "But I want Digitino. He's so cool. He's got glow in the dark armor." But no, I think that was the week I got Flutterina. But like, but that's why Mattel brought in Clamp Champ, and Natasa was like Butterfly Woman, and they said, and it's weird that they missed the boat so long on MOTU because Black Barbie was like a big seller for them. Like,
Yeah, yeah, I don't know why, and I don't recall, like, it's not like I don't think, like, if you look at like all the concept art, I don't recall any like black characters
yeah,
prior to Clamp Champ that they were even considering. I don't know why.
I think I feel like there was one, the skier, that was like 85, 86 maybe. I not
Right, maybe.
like that pack or something.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, yeah, that's
And he
right.
was
He had
like,
like a rocket theme to his
yeah.
costume.
And he predated Clamp Champ, so like,
That's true.
but
That's
there were
true.
some
Okay.
concepts. Like it just, there's so much that even the Power and the Honor doesn't have. Like,
Yeah. Or that, I mean, they've got more now than they did when they made that
yeah.
book too. So
That is the okay. So you're probably one of the few people who I could ask this who will know. Like, obviously there was a cease and desist, which is why the Power and the Honor Volume 1 is like sort of out of
mhm.
print or whatever. Um, what are the odds of like a Volume 2 at some point, even if it's in conjunction with Mattel? Because there is so much more that hasn't happened.
Yeah, I
And
think that's something that could happen for sure. Like, because I mean, you look at what they're doing. I mean, Emiliano is
mm,
officially working, on the He designs all the Mondo stuff.
yeah,
Um, I think any of the issues they had with Mattel, I don't think those people are there anymore. So
right.
yeah, I think we could definitely see something like that again.
Because like even Dark Horse, like like
Yeah,
it would
and
probably. I mean, it would have to go through, but obviously there's stuff we're still getting that we never saw.
yeah, and even when they were still like not too far removed, that the art of He-Man, which was I think 2015,
Yeah,
they weren't like the leads on that book, but they did contribute images to that book.
it's, it is literally just right here. I'm researching stuff right now for a video. Let's see. Yep, 2015. And then the character guide is 2017.
Mhm.
And then the supplemental. Wait, where is the... Oh, Dark Horse. You're so uneven. Oh, wait. No, I just missed it. And the supplemental... 2021, so... Alright, so yeah. No, we are overdue for one. And that last one they did that had the She-Ra stuff. It would be nice if they found somebody a little bit more knowledgeable about She-Ra, because some of the capture history they put in there is fan fiction.
Yeah, that was the DK book. Is that?
Yeah.
Yeah, that one was very like.
And but the problem with that is we got some concept She-Ra art that's had never been out before.
Yeah, they had cool images. They must have
Noreen,
gotten some from Mattel, but
all the Noreen Porter Double Trouble we need Double Trouble, like obviously the actual figure Mattel, but also like the concept Noreen Porter sketches for that one. Oh my god, it's so cool.
yeah.
And she also, and Double Trouble is one of the characters that Justine also helped design. So that means there are at least 2 different versions before the toy version. So, let's see. I feel like Hasbro. Yep. Well, I think it's also though just, and this is I think one of the things we miss is during the 80s, like you could just do that. Like retail was at the peak, like retail stores wanted, and we would still be, it's the whole online thing. As much as we love our online stores, like if we were still actually doing the bulk of our shopping in stores, we would still be able to get giant placements like Eternia at retail, because they would be willing to give it the space, but they're not willing to give the space to this stuff because it just doesn't sell, and then it sits there and clogs the shelves. And everything moves so quick that I didn't get My Point Dread until like 86, because Service Merchandise still had 2 or 3 of them.
Mm-hmm.
And it wasn't marked down, it wasn't on sale, but back in the day, like you had 2 or 3 aisles. Like MOTU for a lot of those years just had an entire aisle all of its own at most stores. And even if something was older, you wanted that because new kids start collecting every year, and you need some Grayskulls, you need Point Dread, you need Battle Cat, you need all these old things on hand, especially at Christmas and holiday and for birthdays. And that's just not how retail works now. Anything sits there too long and they mark it off, mark it down, sell it off. Whereas there's something about being able to go to a toy store especially and say, oh, I want He-Man or whatever, and be able to get a He-Man and Merman and Tila and Skeletor, but also have like Rio Blaster, 3000 Rock Warriors.
Mm-hmm.
Part of the reason some of these toys pegworms back in the day was you could get He-Man and, all these other characters for the entire length of the toy line. I mean, and that's, like OG She-Ra, like that original 1985, you could still find her on store shelf. You could still order her from Mattel in 87 as part of, their last year of product.
Right.
Angela Bow, I think Katra. I'm trying to think, maybe Glimmer, like the main characters from like the and Cal. You could get those 5 if I remember one of the dealer catalogs you have posted. But like it's really important that you could get all those major characters and order them through the entire length of the toy line. And there's just not, retail just doesn't, I think, and I'm also going to blame us as adult toy collectors because, we go to the store and we're like, it's the same old crap. And But I mean, to be fair, when it's Sorceress, Naked Stratos, Jitsu, and Buzz Off, there are only so many of those I can buy, people. So,
Right. Yeah. Yeah. I don't know. I feel it's like there's not like a happy medium.
there's
I
really not.
I think it's okay to see a character for a year, as long as it's not just a couple of characters. Like if there's a variety, I think it's okay. But you're just not interested by
I
that.
was okay with Naked Stratos because that skin tone, like, so easy to kit bash other characters with that
Mhm.
body. I made a lot of customs with that one.
Yeah.
Naked Stratos with some clawful armor and a He-Man head where I ripped the hair off and did clay, some sculpey, and voila, Aqualad. Welcome to the Origins line. How's your page coming, Adam?
I think I'm pretty much done with it.
Let's embiggen you really quick. Very nice. Oh yeah, that looks really good.
Thank you.
That's a really good blue for your battle ram too.
Thank you. I put a tiny bit of green in there just to give it a
Yeah,
little bit.
because it's got that little. Yep. Yeah, it's this. This is the one I use for the bulk of my battle ram. It's like, oh god, it is muted turquoise. So it's like gray and gray, and
Yeah.
it's my cheat. It's my cheat for the battle ram. But yeah.
Big in the merman.
Yeah, well, you got to get the right color. Like, I'm really
Yeah.
particular about getting that turquoise blue green, but I need to get his head right. I always mess up the way his face is, like, cause like part of his head is blue, and then there's some yellow parts, and I don't want to look at a toy. I don't want to buy a Big Bad Toy Store. I just want to look at your picture of it. Thank you. All right, there we go. Like, I don't need another Merman Big Bad Toy Store. Thank you, though. I've got like 4 and 3 Word of Power ones. Why? Because I don't know. It's a problem, people. It's a problem.
I always find he of all the figures he never photographs right, like the color.
Yeah,
Like
he does.
he looks much bluer in a photo than in real life.
I also sometimes he'll look too green. Like, especially vintage ones will look too green.
Mm-hmm.
Where it's like, it's a very turquoise. It's a really specific plastic color.
Yeah.
It's weird that, like,
Like a dark turquoise.
naked. You got Stratus
Naked
out there
Stratus.
with no clothes on. He's naked. Gonna go get some grit. Wait, see if I can do it. I can't. I would be forcing the accent if I made it happen. I was doing a voiceover and I stopped because my Southern was. It was very late. It was like 2 a.m. and I'm like, let me get this audio recorded. And I heard it in the end, like, just enough country fried to sound Southern. And I'm like, nope, we're not gonna do that. Not on a voiceover for She-Ra. But yeah. All right, there we go. Exactly. Everyone, hit the like button. If you're not subscribed, you should subscribe. We do this every Sunday, mostly, except during the holidays. It's either me or next week. It'll be me and we'll talk about that at the end. If you like Masters of the Universe, though, this is your week for live streams. So this is actually your next few weeks for the most part. So congratulations, all. I should be coloring, but I am working on the Fun Cool thing every day for the MOTU fans. Well, for me. But
Nice.
I found good sticker paper. I don't quite know how I'm going to do the videos yet, but I have printed out that 1982 sticker fun book with stickers, and I'm going to figure out how to make that into a video. So, spoiler alert, guys. Yeah, I've got a bunch of them. I had to, one of them I got for $5 technically uncolored, and all the stickers intact, except they were intact to the pages because it had gotten wet. But between steam, my heat gun, and a lot of patience and some cussing, I mostly got them apart. The cussing was so bad, Matt heard me in the bedroom, which is 3 walls away, and came running in like, "Are you okay?" I'm like, "No, I'm not. This isn't working." But I got them apart. It's been saved. I need to get those to oh god, I just spaced on his name. The guy in the battle ram who's handling all the books and stuff. Ben Moss.
Oh, Ben, yeah.
Ben. He's missing a bunch of the stickers from the book, so. And that's why I prioritize that. It's one of the few things he's missing. And I'm like, let me get him what he's missing so he can, like get that all built out properly. But yeah, that was how I spent my New Year's Day. I exchanged some messages with you, made cabbage and ham and corned beef. Well, Matt doesn't eat corned beef, but he will eat ham. And black-eyed peas for me because he doesn't eat those either. And then out here with like steaming and heat guns and screaming. It was. I'm like, hopefully this isn't all of 2026 is me screaming at old coloring books and trying to use witch powers to unstick stickers. So, but maybe it will be. Who knows?
It might be.
Hello, Mr. Wonderful. Welcome. Lovely to see you. You have, you guys, technically a plug. You and Ed are taking over Hello Dope's time slot today while they're on pause. So, yeah. So, anyway, we're almost to the end of the day, guys, and I'm not quite finished, but we are going to finish Merman's underpants. So.
He at least has to have some finished underpants.
At least needs some pants over his, over his stuff. Cover that junk up. There we go. All right, he's got pants, but I got most of him. It's pretty good, actually. So anyway, really quick, I'm gonna embiggen this guy so you guys can see where we got.
Good.
So, and I'll finish it up at some point. I'll post what we got later.
I was feeling good about mine, but yours, you have so much detail. It's really good.
Okay, so yesterday, we'll do another spoiler alert, just so you understand. Like yesterday, I spent how many hours? I spent no, not yesterday. Friday. Friday, I spent like 6 to 8 hours, and it's nebulous because like time gets weird. But working on some She-Ra stuff for the channel.
Oh, nice. That looks great.
Yeah, so, but again, I spend 6 to 8 hours in a day doing pages, so like, it's going to be a little bit better just because I spend more time on it. This is the first time you've probably colored since last time you were here, right?
Yes, it is. Yes.
So there you are. So just look at how far you've come since last time you were here without any practice, and this is what I get doing this many, many hours every week, so. Who's better?
Well, it shows.
Who's better? Really?
You're clearly better.
Yeah. I'm better because I spend more time. You spend less time and are pretty good, so I think it evens out. As I told my ex Earl, the black-eyed peas, they tasted all right to me, Earl. He thought it was pretty dark in the tarp. Anyway, we should wrap it up because we're at 2 hours. I'm going to embiggen you really quick. Where can the people find you, Adam?
Let's see, the 2 websites, battleramblog.com, heman.org. I'm most social media, most active on Facebook. Just look for Battle Ram Blog on Facebook. But I'm also on Instagram. I think I changed it. It's like Battle Ram Blog and heman.org on Instagram. So, but I think if you just search, you'll find it. But yeah, I'm always posting stuff as I find it. I try to keep people entertained. while I'm building out these 2 huge sites.
All right, and then there's the link to Battle. I'm going to hope most of you are aware of it. And then He-Man.org. You don't need the link for that. Also, you've recently started a new podcast, correct?
Yeah, oh yeah, that's right. And we're going to be recording again this week. It's the Spirit of Grayskull podcast with the He-Man.org staff. So myself, Colt, Ben, Yuka, whenever he's available, depending on time zone and when we have to schedule it. Plus, we're going to start having guests on as well.
And that's a pretty good lineup. Oh, it's funny. I'm gonna go ahead and drop the link for He-Man.org in the chat. Because that will have links, I'm going to assume, to the podcast for people to find it.
Mm-hmm.
Everyone can subscribe to that. And then the frenzy still happens regularly.
Yeah, we'll be. I think we're going to do something in February with Frenzy, so we'll still be doing that as well.
So you're a busy man. So everyone go check Adam's stuff out. Good. Yeah, so go check out all of Adam's stuff, because Adam is I said it last time, and of course this time I'm less fangirly, but Adam is a big part of why I research, because he has all this amazing stuff, and I'm like, oh, it's much easier when it's He-Man, because Adam has already gone there, and then when there's something missing, I'm like, oh, he doesn't have as much of this stuff. Let me go find it. So a big part of why I'm on the internet doing what I do is because Adam does what he does. So go check him out. You're one of the greats, Adam.
Thank you.
Thank you. And then, oh yeah, I should tell people where I am. I'm here right now, gushing about how cool Adam is. Also, though, there are shorts all this week. I had a bunch of shorts that I made last year, in case I couldn't, and then I had a plethora of backlog. Plethora is also the word of the day, y'all. Just go with it. So there's actually a short every day for January, but January is almost over. This week, though, we've got some She-Ra. She-Ra versus Scorpio, She-Ra versus Hordak, and Madame Raz. And then on Friday night, I'm doing a special live stream with Cobweb Collector. We'll be coloring Masters of the Universe. And then next week live stream, I will be solo doing some whip, which is all the leftover stuff, which will be Catra, and I might work on this Merman then. And then the week after that will be Colt, your podcast guest star, co-host. And we're going to be doing Masters of the Universe. So for you Masters of the Universe fans, I've got you hooked up.
Nice.
On that note, we are going to head out. Thank you, everyone, for being here and for playing along. Muchly appreciated. And we will see you again in the next one. Bye, everyone.
Thanks, everybody.